Hey everyone, and welcome to Today Matters. I'm so excited to be sharing with you all this week. Yesterday, we talked about offense, which is one of the greatest tools the enemy will use against us. We talked about one, the freedom Christians can have if we practice living unoffendable. Two, offense is a sure way for us to lose the battle before the battle even begins. And three, Scripture says that we can gain great respect if we just overlook a wrong or offense. Today, we are going to be diving into the topic of the art of battling giants, day 3. Sometimes, in order to fight your giant, all you need to do is change your perspective in which you are looking at your giant. I know, it sounds funny, right? Just follow me here. I remember when I was in college in world civilization class, I had to do a debate on whether the benefits that the first emperor of China made was worth all the horror he caused. I was chosen to be on the side of the emperor. He was a horrible man, and he was also one of the most feared emperors in China. However, he was also a very smart guy who developed weights and measures for the whole world, which is a huge gift to society. He also built the Great Wall of China. I had to convince my class that no matter how much useless bloodshed he shed, it was all worth it for the end cause. Wow. I had to get to know my enemy to find out a way to make him look like a hero. I nearly pulled it off in winning the debate. I couldn't believe it. Today, I want us to get to know our giant a little bit more and see a perspective that you might not have looked at before. Goliath was head and shoulders taller than any of his peers. From research, there is a condition called acromegaly. I can't even say it, which Goliath probably had. It's caused by a benign tumor in the pituitary gland that causes the overproduction of a hormone growth. The tallest person, what we know, was 8'11" who had this. There are side effects from this condition that fit well with why Goliath would have fought the way he did. Most individuals with acromegaly have vision issues. Either they are nearsighted or have double vision. This is why Goliath needed to be escorted to David, we believe. Then Goliath mentions he needs David to come to him, knowing that he can only fight at close contact. David had zero intention of fighting at close contact. He knew his strengths and he knew his weaknesses, and he also knew his giant's weaknesses. There were many military tactics, even in David's times. If David would have been in the military today, he would have been a sharpshooter. You see, he may have been small, but he was a master at the slingshot. They called them slingers. Slingers were skilled marksmen whom the best could kill a bird midair 200 yards away. There were 3 kinds of infantry. Cavalry, which was chariots and horsemen. Heavy infantry, which would have been Goliath, which is up-close fighting. And artillery, which is David and the slingers. After 40 days of stare downs, the enemies decided to do a thing called single combat fighting. This was a way of winning the battle without needless bloodshed. Each party would bring forth the best man and they would fight to the death. With the Philistines sending Goliath, heavy infantry, him being 6'9", it doesn't look like this would be a fair fight, does it? However, this didn't seem to faze David. David was able to stay with confidence that he had no plans to fight with bare hands. He had other ideas. David was a skilled slinger who was able to fight with a weapon he had been using and training with for years. Remember, sometimes our greatest season of rejection is preparation for the battle ahead. David was used to fighting off lions and bears to protect his sheep. Isn't it cool that he is now going to protect God's sheep? Pretty darn cool, if you ask me. Listen to what David says in Samuel 17:34 through 37. Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion and a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, and I struck it and rescued it from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair and struck it and killed it. Your servant has killed both a lion and a bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of those lions and bears because he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who rescues me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of the Philistines. I mean, I'm pretty sure this was the first TED Talk ever. Wow. We all know the end of the story. When traditional ways of fighting don't work, God showed his power through the youngest, the rejected and unseen. God allowed David to have a perspective that nobody else had. He prepared David for this moment in order to show the mighty hand of God. This was the pivotal moment that started to gain the respect for this young man that would later turn to a crown. Never underestimate the power of perspective and what God can do when we trust his plan, even the crazy ones. So what can we take away from this today? One, sometimes our greatest season of rejection is preparation for the unseen battle ahead. Two, sometimes all you need to do is change perspective to fight the giant right in front of you. And three, never let human limits limit the power of our limitless God. As you know, today matters, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow as we dive into the giant of fear.